Classic Fairy Tales.
A Pure Heart. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Alabama, there was a king who lived in a magnificent palace. He had only one daughter, the beautiful Princess Azura. However, the princess suffered from the strange disease, causing her to be bedridden all the time. The king was very worried. He invited the best doctors in the kingdom to cure the princess. But none of them knew which disease the princess had. When the king was desperate, a prophet came and told the king,
Your Majesty, it is said that on Baiza Mountain there is a magic stream. The water there can cure the princess's illness, but only someone with a pure heart will be able to find it. By all means, I have to find that stream to save my daughter, even if I must give up this throne.
The king ordered to spread the news that he would reward generously for anyone who could find a magic stream. The news was quickly spread and eventually reached an old farmer's farm on a deserted hill. The farmer had two sons named Ulrich and Hubert. The older brother Ulrich always thought that he was smart and considered himself the best. Ulrich didn't go to work but always went around bragging about himself. In contrast, his younger brother, Hubert, was not very smart but he worked very hard. Furthermore, Hubert was very honest and kind. He often helped people in need. Because of his honesty and kindness, Hubert was often deceived by others and lost a lot of money. The father was very worried about Hubert. Knowing that the king was searching for a person who could help the princess, Ulrich excitedly proposed to his father.
Father, I will find the magic stream to save the princess. In this world, no one is as smart as me. I'm sure I can find it. Okay, if you want, just give it a try.
Ulrich excitedly went to the garden. He picked the freshest apples to prepare for the journey. Then he set out to Baiza Mountain to search for the magic stream. On the way, Ulrich had to go through a forest. He passed an old beggar standing in the middle of the way. The beggar looked hungry and was wearing dirty clothes.
Hello, young man. Can you please kindly give me something to eat? I have been starving for a few days.
Ulrich looked at the old beggar's miserable appearance and he felt disgusted.
My apples are for me to eat. Why would I give them to you, beggar? Get out of my way. I have to go find the magic water for the king.
Ulrich walked away immediately and left the beggar behind. The beggar looked at Ulrich and said some strange words.
A person with an evil heart can only find frogs in the stream water.
As expected, Ulrich found a stream as soon as he reached the mountain top. He felt very satisfied and thought he was the luckiest and the most talented person. Ulrich filled up a bottle with water and set out for the palace. He asked the guards to let him come in the palace. The king was really happy when he learned somebody had found the magic water. So he quickly invited
Your
him
Majesty,
in.
I got the magic water from the stream on Baiza Mountain. It can cure the princess' disease. Really? Open it for me to see.
As soon as Ulrich opened the lid, many frogs jumped out. The frogs jumped around the palace, which made the king very upset.
Take this fool out and beat him, so he doesn't dare to brag anymore.
After that, Ulrich struggled to go home. He told his strange story to his father.
Obviously, I found the stream. But when I opened the bottle, only frogs came out. It's good that the king only beat you. You are very lucky.
Hubert heard the story that the king was looking for someone to save the princess, and he wanted
Father,
to try.
I also want to find a stream to save the princess.
Hearing that, Ulrich laughed at him.
An idiot like you. Even a smart person like me couldn't do it. That's right. You're very gentle and honest. I'm afraid you might be tricked by people.
However, the brave man Hubert was determined to look for the magic water for the king.
Father, I still want to go. Please allow me.
The father saw Hubert's strong determination, so he had to agree. Hubert went to the garden to pick some apples to bring with. But all the delicious apples had been picked by Ulrich. There were only green, sour apples left. He just picked some, then set out to find the stream. Like Ulrich, Hubert also met the beggar in the forest.
Hello, young man. Can you please kindly give me something to eat? I haven't eaten for days.
Looking at the old man, Hubert immediately gave the beggar some apples.
But I only have these green apples. If you don't mind, I would give you half of these. You're such a kind person. Where are you going? I'm on my way to find a magic stream on the mountaintop. Oh, a person with a pure heart will find a magic water that can cure all diseases. Thank you. I really hope so.
Hubert generously gave half of his apples to the poor beggar, then continued on his journey. Finally, he reached the top of the mountain and found a fresh stream. He took a bottle of water and went to the palace. He was stopped by the guards.
I want to see the king to give him the water that can save the princess.
The two guards were surprised at what Hubert said. They thought that he was bragging, so they laughed.
Last time, there was a guy who came here with a bottle full of frogs, and he was punished by the king. And now you want to do the same thing? You can go home now before it's too late. This is the magic water that I found on Mount Biza. Please let me in to see the king.
The two guards thought that this man will surely be beaten up again. They went in to inform the king. Hubert entered the palace and saw the king. He opened the lid of the bottle, and inside the water was very fresh. The king was so happy. He took Hubert to the prince's room.
Huh?
Just seeing Azura, Hubert was amazed at her beauty. Hubert gently gave the princess the magic water. Miraculously, after drinking, her skin became rosier and alive. Her face didn't look pale anymore. The princess gradually recovered. The king and Hubert were overjoyed when the princess was well again. Knowing that Hubert was the one who had saved her life, Azura also fell in love with the brave man. The king saw that Princess Azura was cured, so he wanted to reward Hubert.
Hubert, where do you come from? And what do you do? Your Majesty, I grow apples and live on a farm with my father and brother. You have saved the princess. Now, what do you want me to reward you?
After thinking for a while, Hubert still couldn't think of any reward. So the king invited him to stay in the palace until he decided what he wanted. During the days there, Hubert and the princess often talked to each other. Hubert fell in love with the beautiful, intelligent princess, and the princess also loved the honest and kind man. Both of them wanted to live together. One day, Hubert and Princess Azura came to see the king.
Your Majesty, now I know the reward that I want. Oh, really? You can tell me. Actually, I really adore Azura. I want to marry her. You want to marry my daughter? Azura, do you want to marry this guy?
Father, I also really like him. I agree to marry him. The king was so surprised. He did not think that Hubert would make such a request, and he didn't expect that Princess Azura would fall in love with him. However, the king didn't want to marry the princess to a poor farmer, so he thought of a way to make it difficult for him.
I also want to marry Azura to you, but at least you must have a wedding gift. If you can make a boat that can sail on land and is stand on water, I'll be happy to marry her to you.
Father, how can a boat sail on land? This request is too difficult.
I have decided. Don't say any words. Either bring me a boat that can sail on land, or there will be no wedding. Your Majesty, I agree. Princess, please don't worry. I will definitely find a boat and come back here.
Hubert said goodbye to the king and princess and set out to return home. He told his father the full story. He didn't know that his older brother Ulrich hid behind a wall and heard the whole story. Greedy and jealous, he made a hole to trap Hubert.
Just stay there until I finish making that boat.
Ulrich carried an axe into the forest to make a boat. Too busy in his work, Ulrich did not notice that the beggar was approaching him.
Hey, young man, your boat's so beautiful. Can you please give me a ride? If I let this ragged beggar on the boat, he will make my boat dirty. I am building a boat without a bottom. It cannot move. Well, I'm busy. Quickly go away.
Ulrich ignored the beggar and continued his work. The old beggar walked away and whispered,
A person with an evil heart can only make a boat without a bottom.
Finally, Ulrich finished building the boat. He was delighted with his accomplishment and jumped on the boat to try it out. As soon as he stepped on the boat, the bottom broke and Ulrich fell down into the hole. Ulrich struggled to get out from the pile of broken wood. The boat's bottom was destroyed and it couldn't move at all. Ulrich felt desperate and gave up. Meanwhile, Hubert, who was stuck in the hole for the whole day, finally managed to get out of it. He went to the forest to make a boat. He was working very hard when the old beggar came. The old man approached Hubert and asked him,
Man, the boat you're building is so beautiful. Can you please kindly give me a ride? Yes, sure. I am making a boat that can sail on land. If you want, please wait for a bit. When I'm done, we'll try it together. Thank you. You're a nice guy. A person with a pure heart can make a boat that can sail on land. Thank you, sir. Let me give you a hand.
With the help from the beggar, Hubert completed the boat quickly. Hubert and the old beggar got on the boat. The boat sailed on land as fast as it did on water. He was very happy and thanked the old man for his help. The old man said goodbye to Hubert and left. Hubert stood on the boat and went to the king's palace. The boat sailed really fast. The king and Princess Azura heard the news and ran outside. The king was shocked to see Hubert returned with the boat that could sail on land. The king thought that Hubert would never find a boat that could sail on land, but now it was right in front of him. Now, the king thought that Hubert was a talented man, and he felt safe to marry his daughter to him. Their wedding was held beautifully in the palace. Ulrich, who did such terrible things to Hubert, felt very guilty. He went to apologize to Hubert and promised that he would return and work hard on the farm. Later on, Hubert and Azura inherited the king's throne. They lived happily together ever after. The people in the kingdom also lived a peaceful life under the rule of the kind-hearted king.